Is AI for you exciting or scary at the moment? Exciting? Okay, awesome. Both. Okay, so exciting, hand up. Scary, other hand up. Okay, both. Yeah, cool. Me too. So here's the way this is designed. I want to tell you a little bit about where AI is going, why we're using it, how we're using it, and then I want to give you a bunch of tools, okay? And the reason why I want to give you a bunch of tools is because I know that the real estate market has been in its own bit of a depression over the last couple of years. We've been on the receiving end of this, right? But there are so many things that you can do that you might not know of that are available to you right now that will move the needle in your business, that it's worth knowing how to do them, right? As Zach alluded to, one of the primary theses for doing this class is that Better essentially realized that just having AI doesn't actually help anybody. The conversion rates are awful. People don't want to talk to a robot. They need somebody to care, right? And so the problem that AI has is that if you don't train it on how to go and reflect your voice, if you don't train it on how to go and understand your context, it doesn't do any good by sharing the content that's really not yours, right? It feels very disingenuous, okay? So this is geared more like a college lab where you get a little bit of instruction and then we're gonna work on things together. Does everybody have the Wi-Fi password? No, not yet.
Yeah, it is Guest of the Muse.
Guest of the Muse. We're going to give this a shot because they said that if there's too many people on it, then sometimes it tends to cut out. And so when we start our 4-part series on the 30th, I might just bring in Starlink so that we don't have that issue. But that's okay.
And then it's by the sea with capital B, T, and S.
By the sea with capital B, T, S. First question, was anybody in Vegas recently? Yes. How was that conference? How did you feel that went?
I was there for fantasy football.
Oh, you were there for fantasy football draft? That's also fun. Was anybody?
I was like,
Was anybody there for a conference of any kind?
which conference?
Wasn't Tom Ferry there just recently?
Oh,
Dallas.
Was that in Dallas?
Dallas.
Oh, I'm sorry, in Dallas. How was the conference?
It was awesome.
Yeah? Did you feel like it gave you practical tools to implement? Was there a pretty hefty price tag on the end of that?
Yep.
Cool. We're not going to have that today. There's literally nothing for you to buy except for maybe a membership with ChatGPT, because I'll explain a few reasons why this could be really, really helpful for you. But the first thing is, I want to impress that technology is very much a one-way street. I want to commend you for being here because there's a lot of people who aren't here and they're just pretending like AI doesn't exist and there's no way to use it. This is happening. Like, it's relatively irrefutable, right? You would not trade in your iPhone for a phone that was attached to a wall with a really long cord, right? It's not happening. This is automatically happening. So now, I want to give you some context for where this is going and how other industries are looking at it, okay? We're going to see if this works. Every now and again it works, and every now and again it gives me trouble. So we'll see. If not, you'll just see me wandering back and forth a lot. AI is coming, and it's coming quick. Singular University in Palo Alto, California holds a 5-day intensive for executives and CEOs, where they help brace these CEOs on where AI is going. And one of the most interesting stats to come out of that is that the cost to produce ratio of AI is doubling every 3.3 months. Now let me break that down. For every $1 that you currently spend on AI, that dollar will be 3.3 times more powerful. It'll be twice as powerful in 3.3 months. Okay? So if you take this and you extrapolate it out, by the end of the year, the same AI that you're paying for right now is going to be 16 times more powerful. Okay? Make sense? The maths, I promise you, I'm in mortgage. Huh? There is. And as a matter of fact, this one here is now out of date because we have ChatGPT 5 instead of ChatGPT 4.5, right? That means in 1 year, it's 16 times more powerful. In 3 years, the AI that you're paying for right now is 4,000 times more powerful, and in year 5, the AI that you have access to is now 1 million times more powerful than it is right at this moment. This is coming. So there are predictions that we will be able to inhabit other planets. We'll be able to cure cancers. There's all kinds of other texture for these advancements, right? But what we know to be true is that people still value human interaction. right? So the question becomes, what does this leave us the ability to do, right? How can we leverage this right now so that we can make sure that we're showing up in front of our clients? Because I believe there are people in your database that you know that already know, like, and trust you that aren't hearing from you, right? And there are tools that you could utilize to go and show up in front of them, but we have new problems, right? Because we've had such a different market over the last 3 years that now we have to go and have more people and more communication and do it more authentically than ever before. Does that track? Are you guys seeing more people in your pipeline that are just not doing anything? Yeah? A lot of slow, sort of semi-depressed nods. Okay? Good. We are too. This seems to be consistent, okay? And so when we kind of go into the time machine backwards, you used to be able to have between 5 and 6 buyers in your pipeline, and of those, about 3 would transact every month, okay? That's usually the way the numbers ended up panning out. Now, realistically, you gotta have between 15 and 25 buyers in your pipeline. And the ghosting rate is really high. And you end up with folks who are just not getting to the point where they go from I don't know to I can't wait because they don't have the right context, right? And so because of this, this feels nearly impossible to crack, right? Because you need to go and show up in front of all these folks in an authentic way that's customized, that has personalization, where you know their context, right? And so this feels like an impossible task because if you just try to show up with the same canned response that your company CRM puts out, I'm sorry, it doesn't land. I know. I'm on many of your CRMs now. I get them from you. You know what I don't need? A recipe. I don't need one. It's okay. I can use ChatGPT for a recipe, and it's going to be closer to what I like, right? So the problem is that the personalization needs to be there, right? Plus, you need to go and show up not only authentically, but Phil Jones says, one of my favorite phrases, in every person who's going to make a transaction, there's a button in their brain. And the button is the show me that you know me button. And if you can hit that button where you demonstrate to them that you know what they want, you know what they fear, you know what they like, they will transact. They will trust you, right? This is not about access to information. This is about having some sort of a human connection where you can grieve together when you lose an offer, where you can strategize together when you have an appraisal that comes in low. This is not here to replace you, okay? Doing this at scale is really hard, right? So there's just not enough time to get it all done, and then generic, like we talked about, it doesn't work at all. So how do we make this work? My belief is that in order to be successful in the next decade or so, by the way, this is a lab. If you need coffee or a donut or whatever, just stand up and grab it. This is super informal. My belief is that there are people that already know and like and trust you that want to transact, but they don't have enough information to take them from, I feel like this might be okay, to the confidence that it's the next best thing for them, right? So how do we get back in front of them, okay? And generally, because we now have to have larger pipelines, the answer is going to be showing up at scale authentically, okay? Now, this is what AI can make possible right now, and we're gonna go through a lot of these things already, but AI can make drafting emails in your tone super easy. Has anybody else done that already? Okay, yep, a little bit of tone correction. It makes me much nicer sometimes, I'll say that. Faster follow-ups. Has anybody just seen how fast it writes for you? It's mind-boggling, right? Has anybody trained their own ChatGPT module yet? A little bit, sort of. I like it.
Project or like
Not a project, but more like a, yeah, like,
a GPT?
nope, closer. I like where your head's at though. We're gonna get there,
They
okay?
talk to you, right?
Huh?
How they talk to you?
Kind of. It's how you ask it to interact with you so it understands your context. Have you done that at all? Okay. A bit, a little bit, a lot of it. Okay, awesome. And then when this takes a ton of time, you're not consistent because it feels like a Herculean effort every time you try to do something, right? Okay, so I want to just reinforce this is not about replacing you. The folks who do this well at scale are going to take market share. 70% of agents, between 70 and 73, depending on what stat you read, did one transaction or less in all of 2024. There is market share out there, right? And the more that you can go and grow your sphere, the more that you can get people to like you, the more that you can show up in a way that's really authentic and help them, they're gonna transact, I promise you. You see this all the time. More than 54%, I did the math, what was it, Thursday? Yeah, more than 50% of the folks that I met with in 2024 came in just looking for information, and they transacted. So our job is really not just to hand out debt. We want to get clients from understanding the path between I don't know to I can't wait. But the only way that you can do that is by either being a really good listener, taking really good notes, or having a Rain Man type acumen. None of those I have, but I do have ChatGPT, okay? So here are the tools that are out there currently, right? So these are just tools that you should use. If you can give them context, they're going to be in a much, much better scenario in terms of helping your business fly, okay? So it's not here to replace you. It's going to help you create and connect, and you can even automate tasks to go and do things for you when you're not paying attention. Can I have everybody raise their hand really quick? Awesome. Put your hand down when I mention something that you didn't know it could do. Have you used ChatGPT as an agent? Okay. Have you used ChatGPT as an operator? Have you used Canvas mode?
What mode?
Canvas mode?
Okay.
Task mode. Have you used task mode? Awesome. Have you trained your own GPT? Okay, you're on it. I love it. Okay, we're going to cover all those things. This is designed to be an intro class, and then we're going to get into a lot of these things, and we're going to take you from not knowing what you're doing to at least having a dangerous value proposition by the end of this, and we're going to do it in 4 weeks, okay? These are a lot of the tools that are out there, and it's really, really easy to get confused. So ChatGPT is obviously OpenAI, Claude is out there, Grok is out there, or Elon AI as I call it. Gemini is Google's masterpiece, Mistral is open source, and Meta is Meta. I still haven't figured out if it's actually that useful. But here's what I want to emphasize, and that is that there's a bunch of tools out there. It's really easy to just take an overview of all of them, get confused, and quit. Don't do that. Okay? I want to use 1 or 2 of them and get really, really masterful at them. And the ones that we use are ChatGPT. How many of you have a pro membership already? Awesome. You're going to love this. Okay. So I'm going to show you the exact tools that we end up using and how we end up using them to do exactly what I'm talking about, right? So the 3 that we use most often are ChatGPT. We have AI, but not clickers that work. Okay, the 3 that we use primarily are ChatGPT, which you all have heard of. We use Otter. Have you heard of Otter before? Okay. Have you heard of Plod before? Okay, a bit? Cool. Do any of you have experience with Otter or Plod? Okay, awesome. I'm going to show you how it works. So one of the other pieces of how this becomes really effective is it's not just how you get ChatGPT to provide outputs, it's also how you provide it inputs. And the better that you can do that, the more that you can show up at scale individualized, okay? So let's go through a couple of these here. I'm going to show you how they work. In action, internally, we use ChatGPT as a thought partner. We use it to go and flesh out ideas. We ask it to poke hole in theories, right? We ask it to kind of understand what our position is in the mortgage industry and then help us extrapolate that to go and reach a wider audience, okay? So we use it as a thought partner. We do business strategy sessions, we do business development, and the big thing that we do really well, I'm really proud of our team for this, is clients are not numbers, right? These are all folks who have stories, they have dreams and goals and desires, and we want to know where they're going, not just now for the next 30 days, but for the next 30 years. And that's really our commitment to the clients that we have. To do that, I have to be one of 2 things. Either fantastic with notes, I'm not, I'll miss things, or I need to use tools. But then beyond that, what becomes magical is when you talk to a client a year and a half later, and not only do I have all of their context, but my client success manager, Jamie knows all of their context too. When we send them a note 2 years later, and we know how old their kids are, and it came up one time in conversation, that's hitting the show me that you know me button. That's pretty cool, right? I just flat out do not take good enough notes, or I don't have enough time to be quite as detailed as I should. And if you're going to do this at scale, you can't nearly be as detailed as you should and do this on a really, really large level, okay? So externally, we use it for marketing campaign writing. We use it for really, really good notes to our referral partners. So if you have somebody you refer in, we've learned that we have very different conversations about real estate and finance than you do. And so we want to help be the conduit to bring those things back to you. They might tell us things that they haven't told you yet. And so we want to make sure that we can frame those things up keeping an eye on privacy, right? We don't want to go and disclose any MPI, but we want to make sure that you have context as well. Whether you choose to share this with them or not is totally up to you and your discretion. This is where you guys are great, but we want to make sure that you have that information, okay? We also use it for social media content generation. We do a lot of context-rich client updates where, depending on where they are in life, we have a pretty good handle and a calendar built out for each client so that we know where they're going to be, right? And then, of course, everybody's favorite, it makes us nicer and we adjust our tone for some of these emails, right? I believe that if you are just putting out content for the sake of putting out content, you're missing it. It's noisy out there, right? So my burn is to try not to share content with someone until I understand their context. Otherwise, it just falls on deaf ears. It has to matter, right? And this helps you do that. But the only way that you can get through that is by doing a really, really good job on the intake side. And so one of the things that we do a little bit different at Neo is it's not just a 15-minute call. That's usually the starter. But typically there's a 45-minute, 35-minute dreams and goals call where we flesh out all kinds of things, not just with what they want to do right now, but where they want to go in the future. And that is enough of a transcript to give us a window into not only their personality type, but their decision-making style, who's going to be the point person or lead if it's a couple for making sure that they get the updates first, or if they wanted to disseminate it to another partner, or if it's an investor, if it's two investors. These types of things become incredibly critical as you go through the transaction because these are high stress, right? Nobody's buying a house without any sort of emotion involved. And then after the fact, we want to make sure that we can consistently stay with them and make sure that their goals are top of mind. Now, let's show some of these things, all right? I'm going to, is that mirrored okay? All right. Here's what I want to do. I want to show you a few of the tools that we use, okay? So I'm going to jump into my accounts on these things and just show you as a demonstration how we end up using these in our business, okay? So the first thing that I'm going to do, so this is ChatGPT here. I'm just going to grab a chat. So there are privacy concerns. Has anybody had waking thoughts in the middle of the night that, oh my gosh, it knows too much about me? I'm the only one? Okay, all right. There's enough in there, right? Enough that it knows contextually that I'm like, I just don't feel like it's appropriate to share, right? So if you ever want to have discussions with ChatGPT and you don't want them to be logged and you don't want it to improve the model, then this little button up here on the far right-hand side, this is enough to turn on temporary chat, okay? Has everybody seen this before or no? Okay. If you use this chat, it doesn't save anything, it does not have any historical context, and you can ask it all the things you want. There was recently litigation where you can now access history if you plan to murder somebody, so maybe don't do it for that. But short of that, you should be in good shape, okay? So if you don't want it to know anything about a particular topic, you can use this temporary chat. Now, I tend to use ChatGPT 5. The Wi-Fi in here is not quite fast enough, so we're using ChatGPT 4 at the moment. Has anybody changed the personalization settings on their GPT? No, not yet? Okay. I'm going to give you an overview, then we're going to go through it together. So this is how I have it set up. So if you go into the settings, you go to personalization. I want to give ChatGPT the context for what I'm doing, what I'm trying to achieve, and give it more context about me so that it can write like me, sound like me, and when I'm having it do tasks, it has this background context, okay? So here's mine. Here's how I want it to interact on a global scale, right? So help me improve my thinking and spot my blind spots, identifying things I may have not considered when I ask you copy or scripting questions. I want you to be a world-class sales trainer and coach, draw on the expertise of sales and persuasion experts like Dale Carnegie, Donald Miller, Phil M. Jones, and Alex Hormozy, Tim Brahim, and Barry Habib. I want to create value for every person in my circle, okay? So that's the pretense that I want ChatGPT to use when it's identifying things about me or what the goals are that I have, all right? Then if you scroll down to about you, you can tell it what to call you. I was modest. I didn't have it call me king, even though my daughters thought that would be hilarious. My occupation, I am a mortgage branch manager and mortgage advisor, and I'm a married father of 2 girls. Super easy, right? You can get as detailed or as keep it as high level as you want. More about you. I'm a mortgage advisor based in Everett. I live in Snohomish. I'm building a business that helps homebuyers make smarter decisions about their home financing. I speak with authority, but also appreciate levity in my responses. My personality type is a ESTJ-A on 16 personality surveys. Has anybody taken a personality survey and updated? You have?
Yeah.
Which one did you do?
It has my Enneagram,
Yeah,
my
perfect.
human design.
Perfect, yep. Super helpful. It now knows more about you. Huh?
What is that person? What is it called?
So 16 Personalities has a personality survey you can do in about 10 minutes.
Okay, I think it took years and years of that.
Yeah, you can do DISC, you can do Enneagram, you just want to give ChatGPT context for when it's giving you instructions, right? Okay, so, and we'll go through that in a minute. I added that my inspirations are Tony Robbins and Alex Hormozi. I have goals and dreams so big they kind of scare me, but I'm completely determined to make them happen. And I have a habit of achieving the goals that I set. I aspire to communicate like Phil M. Jones, and I find his use of questions empowering. Okay, so this is mine, right? You can spend as much or as little time as you want on this, but this is going to be absolutely key when you start going into like the next level of building. Okay? Anything else that I told you that I wanted to touch more on?
No, that was perfect.
Okay.
Can we copy yours?
I mean, you sure can. You're going to write like me now, if you can do that. Okay, cool. So that's personalization quickly, right? And again, we're going to get into all of these. We're going to do it together in our 4-part series that starts on September 30th. Now, have you all made your own GPT? Not really? Okay. Do you know what a custom GPT is? Okay. Basically, what we just set and held up there was like the global preferences, right? Now you're going to go a little bit more granular, and you're going to create a GPT that operates by a specific subset of rules, like things that are helpful for me. We have a mortgage scenarios desk. We can run scenarios by these fantastic underwriters, and their entire job is just to answer my questions, especially when they're dumb. I'd rather have that person in my pocket. So what I've done is I created the mortgage scenarios that I have uploaded all 30,000 pages of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, VA, and conventional guidelines, and now I can ask it questions based on that pretext, right? Now, I've also uploaded my specific company overlays, but I don't trust AI 100%. So what I have it set up to do is when I ask it a question, it'll not only show me the answer in the snippet in plain English, because I prefer that, but it'll also give me a hyperlink to cite the source, right? Now I can go back and read that, double check, verify, and off we go, right? This is a major labor saver. This, frankly, God bless Marisol, it's gonna replace her job. Like it totally is. We don't use her nearly as much. We have a question queue, and you can see that question queue going down and down and down and down. I probably shouldn't have shared this as widely as I did, but that's okay. There's other things for her to do. What about things like, have you used ChatGPT for property descriptions? You have? Okay. Have you used the custom GPT builder where you upload pictures of the property? Okay, all right, cool. I'm making mental notes so that we can go through some of these. So projects, have you done anything with projects? Steve, you were talking about them earlier. Have you separated like your work, your real estate, your home life, your recipes into projects? Okay, if you don't, you end up with a giant long list of everything that you've ever asked it, and it's really impossible to search, okay? So you can go and separate things into projects. I recommend that you do. It's one of the features that you get if you have the premium version, okay? But figure out what organization makes sense for you and definitely utilize that. Let's see.
I have a quick question.
By all means.
On the mortgage scenarios, did you like upload the documents, or did you just give it the websites and it pulled everything?
This was really important to me, so I went and found the documents, and I told it exactly which ones I wanted to reference.
Okay.
Yep, so I had them,
That
I
sounds
uploaded
very
them.
laborious, but then it's worth it in the long run.
It's totally worth it in the long run. It took me a whopping 12 minutes. Yeah,
Oh,
So when you do the new project,
yes.
how do you break it down into the clients?
Great question. Okay, so it's easy to create a new project. So you go to new project here, you put in whatever you want, right? And then once you have clients, I'll scroll down here, you can basically just drag them into this spot. Now I'm gonna give you a high level overview of what we do, okay? When we do a dreams and goals call, we take the transcript of that dreams and goals call and we put it into our custom GPT that we made, and I'll show you how to do this, but we put it into our dreams and goals GPT. And what that does is it distills out all of the important notes that our team would need, okay? And it goes and breaks everything down. So I have a 45-minute conversation that I lifted from Otter. I put it in here, and then from there, it passed along and distilled out all the important information that my production partner, Misty, is gonna need as she is identifying how to go and set up this loan file. I'm done. My job is to go and get to the heart of the issue, right? But now, Misty's job is to make sure the loan file is set up in a way that makes sense for them, right? And I didn't spend a whole lot of time on notes. In fact, I spent probably less than a minute, all right?
Create that template.
I did, yeah. And I'll show you how to do it. Yep, because you can set this up any way you want, right? And I'll kind of get to that in a second here. So, when you're making a custom GPT, let's just look at one real quick. So here's my dreams and goals insight. Boop. Let's go here. You open up the one that you've made. You go to About. I will bring in Starlink next time, guys, sorry. I've got the spinning wheel of death. If you go into About, it's gonna bring up all the rules that you've set up for how you want it to respond. For us, we have specific formatting guidelines, and rather than try to go and tell it what I wanted, I just took a screenshot and I was like, I want it to be in this format. Here you go. And I let it do it, right? So rather than trying to tell it, like, I need you to go and outline these things, we have a form. I didn't want to fill out a form, so I just uploaded the form and I have it fill out the form. Great, easy enough. Yeah.
One important thing to note about this too, so obviously, and I'm sure Tim will kind of talk a little bit more about this, but as far as the GPT builders go, that's going to be something that when you want to get your hands inside, you want to get a little, like, you want to get dirty and be able to build something out, that's something to look into. These GPTs, a lot of them are going to be available, right? So yeah, exactly. So if you, and I'm sure like a lot of you have done that. So something to look into if you're thinking, man, I want to build a specific GPT. I mean, just go search it and be able to see if someone else has already done the labor for you.
100%. This is a little bit about creating GPTs. We're going to spend an entire session on building GPTs and making sure that you have some that you get to make that you can take home and continue to iterate on. Now, once ChatGPT understands your context, then really our information is only as good as the input, okay? So one of the things that we do is we utilize Otter, and Otter logs into our Zoom meeting, right? It just joins as an automatic note taker, and it records a transcript, and then it distills down notes. Now here's where this gets really cool, right? Because there's lots of programs that do this. You can share the notes with your production partner, with your TC, with anybody else on your team who might be doing a showing. But once the notes are there, once you do the meeting, without having to go and burn any extra calories, your notes are there and they're organized and they're ready to go, okay? Now, I don't happen to remember if I talked about the opt-out with Cassie, right? The opt-out is what we have clients do right at the beginning so that they don't get 300 phone calls and text messages right when we pull their credit, right? So it's easy enough to go and just jump in and say, hey, did we talk about the opt-out? And it'll go and search the transcription and find out if we did or not, right? This is incredibly helpful, especially if your teammates have it, because they don't have to come back to you every time they have a question. And so if you're gonna be serving 25 clients a month, at least in some capacity, to get a few of them to transact, being able to go and outsource some of this to the other team members so they still have context, incredibly valuable, okay? It was discussed early on, discussed again around the 24 to 25 minute mark. I can actually click on this and I can go to where the transcript is and it will pull it right up. And then sometimes, as we know, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So at any point you want, you can just click on it and okay? So if you have questions about something or there's something that came up in the transcript that if you got questions about, you can just go right to where it is in the transcript and listen to it that way, okay? Would that be helpful for you? Okay. Oh, you're going to listen to my whole call now. Great. Now, one of the things that has become incredibly helpful is that we share this with our agent partners. Crystal, I've done this with you a number of times, right? So we have our dreams and goals call. There's things that come up that maybe you didn't know. Like, oh, by the way, I'm going to just give you these notes, and maybe it's worth taking a look at it, right? Just so that you can have the extra context, right? If you know the context, you'll get them to stick. I promise you. It happens all the time, right? But if you try to just give them canned responses, different deal. Yes?
When you use Honor, how do you integrate that into your workflow as far as like, are you doing it through your phone? Like, how do you do that with your client?
Awesome question. All we do is we just connect our calendar, and it will automatically join the meetings you want it to join. So like if you have a 10 a.m. meeting with a client, Otter knows your calendar. You've connected it with your Calendly or whatever calendar you use, Google Calendar or what have you, and then you can just add it. Now, if you don't have that, right, it's super easy. You know the little bottom button on the right that says participants? All you do is just paste in the participant link right here, assuming that it comes up for me. It comes up right there, and then you just click record, and it jumps into the meeting.
Is it on your phone? I mean, not to sound weird. Is it on your phone though, or are you on speakerphone next to your computer?
No, it's in the meeting. And so not only is it in the meeting, like
You're
what,
talking about online or personally?
Yeah, are you doing like a virtual chat or
Yeah.
like, what are you?
no,
doing, like,
it's
Zoom?
so it's in the yes, it's a Zoom call.
Okay.
Yep, yep.
It's live, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So to clarify, that's a Zoom meeting. Okay. Now the nice
Or
part.
is it a Zoom meeting?
Thank you.
That's great.
I did want you to ask. Yeah. Thank you. Did we? You got it. Yes.
Is there a legal aspect of this to?
Yeah. You want to let them know.
Let them know,
Yep.
exactly, because in Washington, you have to.
Yep, you got to let people know. So this is pretty easy. People actually want to be known more than they want to be concerned with privacy. So it comes up right away. It says, by the way, this meeting's being recorded. So they got to click and accept, right? And then for the next tool, you just let them know that that's okay. And you just ask for their permission, right? Hey, do you mind if I turn on my little recorder so that I've got really good notes when we get off this call? Nobody has said no. 0 people have said no, okay? I'm sorry, what was your name? Kyle. To Kyle's question, if we can get this to go, on the right-hand side, you just click record here. Oh, it's because my laptop is plugged in. I'll take it back. My laptop is plugged in right now. If it was not plugged in, there's a little box that comes up, and you just paste the invite link, and it automatically joins. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Now, I am firmly aware that you guys are not always at your desk like we are. This is Plod. You seen this? Yeah? Have you used it? Okay. This is a digital recording device, and it also transcribes, okay? 2 really cool things about it. 1, if we're just talking like this, the microphones are supreme. They're really good. Like you're able to go and record conversations super easy, right? Same rules apply. Let people know you're recording. They appreciate that because then they know that you care. And also when you follow up, they forget you even recorded it. Nobody remembers, I promise. But this is really helpful if you're driving in the car and you're on speakerphone. If you get a phone call, you just leave it on the back, okay? You see this little red dot here? You just slide it up. Now, if you're on the phone, it will pick up the vibrations of the person's voice.
Like Inspector Gadget.
You want to see my shoe phone? It's pretty cool. I'm serious, right? Huh?
Speakerphone?
No, not on speakerphone. You can have a private conversation with the person on the other end.
Okay.
If this little red button is switched, and it will,
Work on speakerphone.
yeah,
And it would work on like Bluetooth in your car.
and meetings and Bluetooth, and yep, 100%. Yeah, you can just leave it. I've done this with Crystal when we were planning out this meeting. I didn't even tell you. It's called Plod.
You did not know
I did not tell you. You're right. Plod, P-L-A-U-D. It is $8 a month.
Okay.
The device, it's $8 a month.
How much is the device itself?
The device, I think I got it on some Amazon deal for like $120. It's normally $150-ish.
Okay.
Okay?
So the service is Plod,
The service,
But-
the whole device is Plod.
the whole thing is
Yep.
Plod. Okay.
The device is Plod, this is Plod, everything. Now, this is the version for your phone. They make another one that's wearable that I couldn't get behind, but it's there, right? So you can wear it like on your wrist or what have you. Open houses, really, really handy if you're talking to somebody at an open house and you need to go and have some sort of reference, or you finish, or you walk to somewhere quiet afterwards and then you just record some notes, right? It then goes to an app. The app goes and brings up all the things you need, okay? Now, in the same way that we use Otter for transcripts, right? So Otter not only shares notes with your team, but you also have access to the transcript. Plod does the same thing, okay? And you can ask it questions, okay? This is a person making a primary purchase in Ohio, right? I'm sorry, an investment property purchase in Ohio, right? What was her timeline? And it will scrub the conversation and give you contextual answers based on what's going on. Yes?
Why do you use Otter?
Huh?
Why do you use Otter?
Because I like the way Otter integrates with Zoom, and 80% of what I do is a Zoom meeting, right? They are a little bit in the double dipping range, right? You could technically just have one or the other. If I had to pick one again, I would probably just get Plod, right? The thing that I like about Otter is as I'm having a Zoom meeting, I've got screenshots of what I share. So I can go back, when I go for my dreams and goals meeting, I go back and I do a refresher about 10 minutes before we go and jump into the pre-purchase consultation where we talk about the approval. And I identify, okay, here's the 3 big things that they want to accomplish. We start the meeting with, okay, based on our meeting last time, you're looking for a house you can be in for at least 5 to 8 years. You really want to keep your payment below $6,000 a month. And you want a school district that's in the North Shore. Awesome. Like, do I have that right? Yes. Cool. So based on that, here's what you're approved for. Let's talk about how these numbers look, right? Have you seen anything at these areas, right? And then you also get the transcript again, right? So you can go and see how those conversations went. But as we're talking through those things, Otter logs screenshots, so I can go back and just filter through and see what those are. Does that make sense? So this answers the question, like, what do we do if we're not in Zoom, right? Or what do we do if we need to go to a listing appointment, right? Otter doesn't allow that as easy. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. You guys are doing awesome. Questions so far? Let's pause real quick. Yes?
Zoom, don't they have an AI thing that you could record?
They do.
Have you used that against Otter, or do you
Yes.
have any feedback?
Yes, I do. So Zoom, the question was, have you used the Zoom transcription service or the AI breakdown? It falls short in this way. I want to be able to share a link with my teammates and have them be able to ask questions of the conversation. You can't do that with Zoom. It does do a nice job of just basic transcriptions, and that's fine. But
Otter
for
has more features, it sounds like.
100%. Yep, and if you have a team, you can get a team account and things like that. So that becomes really, really helpful there. Now, in the same way that we use these for notes, right? Again, you guys get all of the notes from that call that are all important and pertinent to you, right? But what we do is take it one step further, okay? Was there anything else I wanted to cover on Plod?
I'm not sure if you covered this on Plod. One of the functionalities of Otter is that you can invite your team. Can you also do that on Plod?
You can get a team account. It's significantly more expensive. So if you're just dipping your toe in, like take the $8 a month and run. It's kind of my opinion.
Does
Yes.
Plod interact with Otter?
They don't. They're technically competing softwares. Yeah, so we actually, once we have the transcript, right, we're working for our input. Now that we've got ChatGPT set up for our output, we want to make sure that the input is great. All you really need is a transcript. And if you can get the transcript, you can get real fun, okay? So over here on the right-hand side, oh, by the way, you can listen to the call if you wanted to as well. But over here on the right-hand side, oops, there's access to this transcript right there, okay? Once you get the transcript, here's what we typically do, all right? We are, as professionals, really good, in my opinion, of figuring out what buttons to push when we are in the same room. We understand what the context is. We understand what that person might need, whether they're searching for safety or security, or they're motivated by something else like an investment property, okay? We're not always great at recommunicating that, one, to our team, and two, to anybody else who wasn't in that room with us, okay? So what we do, and let's just grab Cassie and Jeff here. So this was a conversation we had just a couple weeks ago. These were copied from my Otter call, right? Here's the entire transcript. Whoop. Super easy, copy and paste. This GPT knows what to do now, okay? So it goes and distills all the information that my production partner needs to go and get the loan file all dressed up and pretty, all right? They know what the hiccups are, they know what potential mishaps could happen, they know what their fears are, they know all of that. So when Misty calls and picks up the phone and calls Cassie, she goes, hi, I know Jeff has cancer, we're gonna make sure that this is really easy for you. I'm really sorry, right? That's important. That is the show me that you know me button, right? That a bot doesn't do that. But if we can make sure that everybody on our team knows that, oh, by the way, Jeff has a new cancer diagnosis, they want to buy a house, there's concerns of a recast after Jeff passes because there is life insurance, but it doesn't all go to her, we got to be really careful on how we dance around that subject. If we can make sure that everybody on the team has that kind of context, she's going to be okay, right? So these things become really, really important. Now, how do we make sure that you guys know this as well? Because this is a lead that came in that was from my sphere. This is an outbound lead, right? So how do we take really good care of Cassie? Let's see if we can try this. See, okay. Prepare me some agent notes that I can hand off to a referral partner to make sure that Cassie's concerns are completely outlined and detailed. Also, please prepare a psychographic and DISC analysis based on my conversation with Cassie.
Disc analysis?
Mm-hmm. Yep, a DISC personality profile.
Based on the conversation.
Yep. Okay. Has anybody done this? No, just me? Okay, cool. Here's an agent handoff.
I would record all my conversations with everybody I ever meet.
I did that from my wife. It went very interesting. That one time, hey, you said, or hey, you said. We'll just keep this on the professional lane. It didn't go exactly as planned. I was right, by the way. She did not like that because even though I was right, I was still wrong. Okay, here's the the handoff for Cassie and Jeff, okay? This goes through everything that we discussed. This talks about the things that they're looking for. Jeff has incurable but manageable cancer. We've got a lot of what ifs. These are much more detailed notes than just, hey, I have somebody looking for a house in Kirkland or a condo that wants to spend 600 grand. These are very, very different notes, right? This allows the ball not to be dropped, okay? Here is Cassie's DISC profile, right? And you can go and even print a PDF and hand this along to the agent. Crystal, you've gotten these notes before, right? I think most of you have. You get these notes. There's a lot of folks that I've handed these notes to. This bridges the gap between the conversations that we have and the conversations that you have. And if you can make sure that they keep these things front and center, even if they go cold, they'll end up coming back to you because they knew what your goals were in the beginning, right? Now, here's where it gets exciting. Let's say Cassie, and this happened, Cassie talks to her husband and realizes that they're not going to be doing anything for a while, okay? So, I want to design a follow-up sequence, okay? So, ChatGPT knows me. It understands me. I'm going to go and use Cassie and Jeff's input. Okay? Design me a 3 email follow-up sequence that can be sent